Our first speaker is currently an active military Air Force member with 17 years of service. He is a master resilience implementer, a TEDx speaker, and an international radio host and author. We asked him he was asked last night, when did he join the Air Force? So if I say 9/11, everybody in here probably knows what I'm talking about, right? Yep. He told us he signed up on 9/12. Okay? So the short meeting, time together we had with him last night, I think, and that answer of I signed up on 9/12 shows his passion and what drove him. So, ladies and gentlemen, Sean Douglas.
Morning. Morning. Wow, you all had some weak sauce for breakfast. Good morning. Good morning. Awesome. Before I start, I want to acknowledge every single one of you. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here, unless you were voluntold. But you chose to be here. So I want to acknowledge you for the decisions that you've made up to this point. By a show of hands, who knows what their company's core values are? You live them, you breathe them, you know what their company's core values are. Awesome. Put them down. By a show of hands, who knows what your core values are? You know what you think, feel, and believe. Outstanding. Put them down. Who's not going to raise their hand no matter what I say? There's always a couple, right? There's always a couple. Awesome. My message for you today is for you to live your brand. You might be asking, what does that look like? Living your brand is living your truly authentic self. Living your brand is finding opportunities every day to live out the core values that you have deep in your heart. That was amazing. Did you get that? This is Jay, my videographer. Everybody say hi, Jay. Hey, Jay. When I said live your true authentic self, and there it was. I planted her in the audience. Thank you so much for that. Before I start really going deep, I have a disclaimer that I have to throw out there. I was recently diagnosed, and I didn't tell the event organizer this, I probably should have. I was diagnosed with something called ADOS, which is it can be deadly. It's called Attention Deficit Squirrel. And so if I can get through this presentation without walking around and finding myself in the back of the room, if you just direct me back here to the stage, it'd be great. Living your truly authentic self means really connecting with the people that you work with, really connecting with the people around you, whether it be in your personal life or your professional life. We oftentimes go into a company, we're busy working. I know people here, I've been talking to everybody, checking email while in between sessions, they're trying to get work done, but we sometimes lose sight of really what are we doing? What is our purpose for what we do? We got to check the emails. Why? People rely on us. We're here at the conference, but people rely on us. I have people back home that rely on me, so I have to make sure I keep in touch. Living your truly authentic self, being real and genuine, no matter where you are in the world, no matter where you are in your moment of life, sets you apart from everybody else. During my time on active duty, I've served all over the world. And I've also built 3 businesses while serving on active duty orders. And every time that I've either built a business, or I've gone into a new duty station, or I've gone into work and wake up in the morning, I always ask myself 3 questions every morning. I always ask myself 3 questions. And so if you have anything to write with, or paper, I know there's some on the table, we're going to be taking a couple notes, we're going to be doing a couple exercises, and I really love audience engagement. So the first question that I always ask myself is, what am I willing to do more of than anybody else? If I'm an executive, if I'm like me as a speaker, my job in the military, what am I willing to do more of than anybody else? What does that look like? Is it simply just staying later than everybody else? Working harder? Is it simply giving more value? Or is it going above and beyond what I call a call of duty, whether you're in or out of the uniform. What does that look like in your life? Doing more than anybody else. We have core values. In the military, especially in the Air Force, we have integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. These core values are not negotiable. This is what drives the common bond between all Air Force personnel. In the Army, they have honor, courage. Marines, they have honor. Some of the similarities between branches, integrity. So I ask you, do you know your company's core values? And do you know your core values? Knowing your top 5 core values, your not negotiables, drives your passion every day. Knowing what you think, feel, and believe about yourself, and how you think, feel, and believe about the world sets you apart from everybody else. My top 5 core values are God, relationships, which include family, personal and professional relationships, loyalty. I've been with T-Mobile for 10 years. If anybody has T-Mobile, you gotta be kind of loyal to that company. So I have honor or integrity, and then transformation. I fully believe that when you transform into your better self, you bring something that someone who has not gone through that transformational moment, something that you've overcame, like I was a heavy drinker at one time. When you overcome something like that, when you overcome a childhood trauma, when you overcome PTSD, whatever your adversity is, when you overcome those things, you go through this transformational process. And that transformational process is huge. And when you can carry that on and you can inspire people through your transformational process, it becomes a core value. So I ask you, what are your top 5 core values? And so here in a second, what I want you to do is write down what you think you believe in the most. Time and money are 2 things that people willingly never give up. Time and money are 2 things people willingly will never give up. Anybody want to give me $50? I'll be in the back after the presentation to collect the donations. If you want to see what people value, look at their calendar for the last 30 days and look at their bank account. Whatever they spent time and money on, that's what they care about the most. So I invite you during a break or sometime today, go back into your bank account and see what you spent money on and see if it lines up with the core values that you're about to write down. On my calendar are things like this, because I love speaking. I'm literally living my dream right now. Every time I go on stage, I'm booked 20 to 25 times a year while serving on active duty. It's tough, but it's a passion. My wife understands that, my kids understand that, and they usually come with me on every single engagement that I go to. And in my bank account, I have a lot of family outings, family dinners. So I bump my calendar and my bank account to my core values. So what I want you to do right now is take a couple minutes and write down what you think your top 5 core values are. Whatever it is that you think, feel, and believe the most. faces, I'll know that you're pretty much done. Not that I'm rushing. Totally not. All right, who wants to share? Everybody wants to go first. Who wants to go second? You'll get in the car right home. Anybody want to share their core values, their top 5 that they wrote down? Nobody. Yeah, go ahead. What's your name? Jay. Everybody say hi, Jay.
Hi, Jay. I'll put God, integrity, family, health.
Outstanding. So I want to give Jay some love for sharing. So what we're going to do is we're going to...
Excuse me, please repeat it because we can all hear it.
Okay. Can you say it louder?
Louder so we can all hear it.
Okay, yeah. I'd say God, integrity, family, health, dedication.
Awesome. I like it. So I want to give him some love. So what we're going to do is on 3, we're going to clap once, snap once, and point at him real awkwardly and say, "You rock." Alright? See them over there? They're like, "Oh yeah." On 3, clap once, snap once, point and say, "You rock." Ready? 1, 2, 3. You rock. Smile. Smile like. Who else wants to share? Or he's like, yes, ma'am.
I wrote God, family, relationship, honesty, and loyalty.
I like that a lot. We're giving some love. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You got it. One more. We'll share one more. Smiles. You didn't think you were going to be doing this today. Give me one more. Who wants to share one more? Yes.
You said God, family, relationships, integrity, quality of life, and then I'm not passionate is my word too, so empowerment is one of them.
I like it. Awesome. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You rock. You guys are going to be doing this during lunch. On the cruise. You have to. You have to do it on the cruise. And everybody there who wasn't here is going to go, "What is going on? This bunch is crazy." So, living out those 5 core values every day in a truly genuine, real, authentic self sets you apart from everybody who does not. Knowing what your core values are, knowing what your top 5 signature core values are, allows you to live fully in that space. If you ever go through adversity, if you ever go through a changing demand, you change jobs, you change locations, there's a sudden death in the family, if something happens, those 5 core values is what gets you through that hard time. Those 5 core values is what you hold on to deep in your heart, and you put those out into the world more during those hard times. Showing up this way isn't simply showing up to do more tasks. It's not the task that is more important. It's how you show up to the world that is more important. It is how you show up in your job, in your family, with your friends, here today. How you wake up every morning and how you show up to the world is more important than the task that you're showing up to. Because I could show up in an amazing mindset and crush it, or I could show up in a negative mindset and I attract negativity and I might not crush it. And so when we go through this exercise, I really invite you to check out your bank account and check out your calendar and see what you wrote down really matches your core values. It's an exercise I do every couple months, maybe 3 to 4 months, just to make sure that I haven't fallen short, because usually I do. Make sure I don't fall short on some of the core values. And make sure that what I'm doing in life is in line with those core values. The second question that I always ask myself, which I believe is probably one of the most important ones, is what am I willing to do differently? What am I willing to do differently? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different outcome. How many here knows that the company culture might need to change, but no one's willing to change it? Like you walk into work and you're like, this is a great place, love the people, but there's something. I don't know what it is. There's something missing. You don't need a title to be a leader. You don't need a title to be a leader. All you need to do is influence the immediate world around you. So how are we different? What does that look like? In everything that I do, I look at what everybody's doing. I look at the leadership, I look at the lower level, I look at everything that's going on around me, and I try to find out what can I do differently that will set you up for success. I have a piece of shrimp that I usually carry with me, but I actually left it in the truck because I was shrimping somebody last night at dinner. So I have a piece of shrimp that I carry with me, and it's a rubber piece of shrimp, and I'm allergic to shellfish. So what I do is I have a rubber piece of shrimp, and what I do is I go to any restaurant that doesn't have shrimp, like Taco Bell or steak place, or somewhere that doesn't have shrimp, and I say I want no tomato because I'm allergic to tomato. I said I want no shrimp. And so I think you kind of know where this story is going, but it's going to take a twist. As soon as they bring it, I'm like, oh, this looks amazing, and then I distract her, and then I'm like, what is that? I said no shrimp, and the lady at Taco Bell flipped out. Who put a shrimp on my line? Oh man! And you should have seen the young kid at the, because like fast food is usually like 16 to 18-year-olds. He like grabs the shrimp and like looks at the menu board, and then looks down with this confused look. And then as on Facebook living his reaction, which should have been a dead giveaway. The manager is running around. Is this yours? Whose is this? Or what happens is you put that piece of shrimp on the belt at Walmart, and then it comes across. And then the lady at the checkout counter, you awkwardly lock eyes. And I say, I only wanted one. I don't want the whole bag. I don't want the whole bag of shrimp, I just wanted one. And then as we awkwardly lock eyes, it's okay. And I put it back in my pocket as the horrified line behind me is wondering what is going on. Again, living in your truly authentic self. Who wants to go to Walmart with me later? Living in that true authentic self and living your core values and figuring out what you can do differently. Who's ever played an office prank? Oh, I hit a nerve. Somebody's either been pranked or is the prankster. Right? Nobody's airbagged anybody, have they? That'd be too dangerous. Take an airbag? Yeah. We play office pranks all the time. Anybody have a lot of cardboard at work? Like you get big cardboard? Yeah, my boss's desk was a dollhouse for like 2 days. It was great. I had a door and everything. Yeah. Super awesome with the welcome mat for his rival football team, college football team. It was amazing. We almost got killed. And so we find ways to show up. It's called a pattern interrupt. What can I do to interrupt the norm? What can I do to set myself up amongst everybody else? How do you stand out in a world where everybody is blending in? What does that look like in your life? So what I want you to do is I want you to write down what you do differently that sets you apart with your fellow coworkers, with the leaders that you work with, or somebody that you manage or that you lead. I want you to write down what you can do differently, whether it be company culture, whether it be maybe you need to institute a game night at home. Maybe there's a connection that needs to be made with somebody at work, but you haven't done it yet. So what I want you to do is I want you to write down what you're going to do differently after you leave here. In the next, say, week, 2 weeks, what are you willing to go above and beyond on? What are you willing to do differently to change the culture or to set yourself up as a leader? Go ahead and write that down.
it's Jamie, Progressive number 1, number 2 employee. Leave a message at the...
No, it's not. Perfect. So I got a handheld so everybody can hear now. Who wants to share? You haven't noticed sharing's caring. Who wants to share? Yes, that's awesome.
I'm actually
Hold on,
going to
Frank.
be at
Pass that
work
back to
for
him.
the whole week.
Can you pass that back to him?
You have to speak into the mic. Oh, God, speaking in the mic? Okay.
I'm actually going to be at work for the whole week. Everybody that works for me enjoys my rapier wit and wonderful charm so bad, and I'm only usually there about 1 day a week because I got an office in my house too. So I'm going to try like heck to be there the whole week.
That's going to be amazing.
It will be. If I could actually get up that early in the morning every day.
Very cool. So what I want to do is I want to give them some love, but we're going to make it a little bit harder this time. So we're going to clap twice, snap twice, and say "You rock." Ready? 1, 2, 3. You rock. Does that feel great? Does that feel great? Who else wants to share? What are we going to do over here? Somebody over here? You look like you want to share. You're staring at me. You're staring at me. You look like you want to share.
I said I'm going to make an effort not to be at work so early each morning. Take a little more time and take my time getting into work that everybody else get to work on time and that way. Because I'm actually in this mode of retirement. I'm in a phased retirement mode, so I'm trying to let other people step up. And I
like it. I'm 3 years away from retiring at a full 20-year career in the military, so I get the feeling. I'm the one that's like, I got this. And my boss is like, dude, you can't have this anymore. You have to start giving it back. Like, but they're 20. Got it. So let's give her some love. Ready? Clap twice, snap twice. 1, 2, 3. You rock. Love a smile. One more share. William looks like he wants to share. He's staring at me intently like, pick me. Pick me. Thank you for volunteering.
Well, there's a guy in our work group that I really don't know that well, so I'm going to make an effort to try to connect with him and get to know him a little bit.
I love that. I love that. So let's give him some love. 1, 2, 3. You rock. Are you the one? Are you the one? I love it. I love it. I had somebody one time, we were doing that, and they literally, it was so funny, they literally got beat ready to go, oh! Like clammed up a little. Okay. It's awesome. I love it. I love it. So I want to play a game with you. You like games? Everybody say, oh yeah? Oh yeah. You don't sound like it. If you like games, say, oh yeah? Oh yeah. Awesome. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our left hand and we're going to go like this. We're then going to take our right hand and go like this. You are then going to take your finger and put it into the palm next to you. And if you need to, you can reach. If you need to. So we're going to cross the table. Adults trying to figure out what hand they're going to put their finger in is incredible. It's incredible. So here's what we're going to do. Right hand, left hand, into the palm. And on 3, you're going to try to grab their finger before they pull it away. Ready? 1, 2, hold on a second. There's 2 types of people in this world. One person says, I'm gonna get it. The other people who still have their hands like this going, come on guys, let's get it together, guys. Alright, on 3, you're going to try to grab their finger before they pull it away. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Absolutely nothing. The joy of your faces right now. So, that game, I love playing with adults over kids. Just kids like, oh my God, okay. But you guys have just made my day. Because as soon as I said you're going to pull their finger away, 3 people go, oh yeah. Some serious people in here. Right? The laughter from you guys was incredible. That's what makes the moment. And you weren't expecting that. And it is like nothing you've ever seen on stage before, am I right? So, I've already completed step 2, which is doing something different that nobody else has done. Probably haven't clapped once, snapped once. Probably haven't done the pattern interrupt. But you will at dinner. All right, I gotta get redemption. Come on, guys. I gotta get redemption. Somebody is gonna do it. Somebody's like, all right. Or what's gonna happen, you're gonna go home. I was at this conference, it was amazing. Oh! All right, kids, check this out. Go like this. Go like this. Dad, what are you doing? You guys will be doing this at the dinner table, I guarantee you. But how you show up differently than everybody else sets you up. You may not remember anything I said. You may not remember the clap and snap, whatever, but you're going to remember this moment. You're going to remember that I had to do this weird game. Like, if you remember anything else from the presentation, I guarantee you you're going to remember that. Because you connected with somebody. Because you were in a group setting intimately with somebody. Which leads me to point number 3. How will I connect more than anybody else? What am I willing to do to connect with somebody that I haven't connected with before? What am I willing to do to connect with my spouse, my kids, relatives, like, you know, everybody in the family has a cousin Eddie, I guarantee it. Everybody does. You don't know what I'm talking about? National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Everybody has a crazy cousin Eddie that you only see during Thanksgiving and Christmas. Right? And oh yeah! So, how do you connect with that person? How do you connect with your coworkers, the leaders, the informal leaders who are off just working what everybody goes to them? It's kind of like the workplace therapist. Right? Oh yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Everybody has a workplace therapist. And they don't even really try to be, but just everybody comes to them. And so, how do you connect with the world around you? In the age of social media and email and Snapagram and Instachats, you know, there's a ton of stuff. Some of you will get that on the way home. In this world of digital social age, we're always online, we're always connecting through that platform. You miss that human interaction. A lot of us, probably everybody in here, knows at one time when, what's a cell phone? Right? I mean, probably at one time you had to come home when the street lights were on. That's when you came home. Like during the summer, you just went and rode your bike somewhere. You brought home animals like turtles and frogs and stuff, like, Mom! Right? And of course, when the street lights were on, you were pedaling super fast because you forgot what time it was and you didn't want to get in trouble. No, just me? Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, that was me. I'm like, oh God! So how will you connect with the world around you, the people that you engage with all the time? How are you going to connect? We just connected by doing that game. But how will you connect when you go home? How will you connect with your spouse or a relationship that you're in? Family, friends, people at whatever store you go to. The people that I meet, new people that I meet, I always give like you got the cards? Give some gifts. I asked the lady upstairs, I said, what are you grateful for today? Whenever I show up anywhere, I always ask questions. I always ask, what are you grateful for today? It's one of them. And it throws people off. I was in an airport, getting ready, I was flying out of Vegas to continue on to my destination, and I could just really tell that the guy at the restaurant was super flustered. I mean, it's an airport restaurant, so there's people in and out, and it's just busy. He is super flustered. I'll be with you in a minute, I'll be with you in a minute. Runs out, and then he runs back. I'm like, I'm so sorry, and then runs back. So I already know what I'm going to order. I'm sitting there, and he comes to me and says, all right. And I was like, stop. What are you grateful for today? He's like, what? It's like, what are you grateful for? It's like, I was like, what are you grateful for? He's like, right now, close your eyes, what are you grateful for? And he's like, I have a job. Like, yeah. And you got money? He's like, yeah. I'm like, what else? You have friends? Yeah. I'm like, all right. He's like, I do have a very beautiful person at home. I'm like, that's awesome. And then and you've seen him just kind of relax. And you've seen him kind of just, and all it was one question. And I asked, what are you grateful for? Science has proven that when you figure out your gratitude muscle, you're less stressed, you have less anxiety, and it lowers depression. Can you imagine if you asked everybody you encountered for the next 2 weeks, just ask them what they were grateful for? Can you imagine the impact that you would have? Have you ever walked into work and someone's like, oh my gosh, oh, man, just stop them and go, stop. What are you grateful for? Imagine you're flying a kite. Who's ever flown a kite? I had a 14-year-old kid one time, not my own, flying a kite at a resilience camp that I was doing. He's like, this is amazing. I was like, I know, I love kites. It's my first time. You're 14. Oh, wait. Social media, video games. And that kind of like set something in me. Like, I wonder what I'm doing with my own kids. Right? If there's other kids around who've never flown kites, I'm like, have I ever flown kites with my kids? We have. Have I ever just played catch? Like we used to do when I was a kid? Yeah. And I started doing like an internal checklist. And so, when you develop this gratitude muscle, okay, you connect on a deeper level. So what I want you to do right now is think of 3 things that you're absolutely grateful for. 3 things, you can write them down fairly quickly, I hope. And
Hey Jamie, it's me, Jamie.
no, it's not.
This is your daily pep talk. I know it's been rough going ever since.
No, it's not. But write down your gratefulness.
Once people found out.
Oh, it's an ad. Three things that you are either grateful for today or grateful to have in your life. I think I'm ready for a wedding. Anybody else? Just me? Is it my ADOS kicking in? Fair enough. I'm ready for a wedding. Awesome. Who wants to share their blessings? Yes. Oh, they were like, woo! She's getting up. She's ready. What's your name?
Angela.
Everybody say hi, Angela.
Hi, Angela.
My parents, and I can separate between my husband and my children.
Okay.
Oh,
Is it on? Yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
sorry. Parents, my husband and children, and the friends that I have encountered on my journey.
Outstanding. Outstanding. So let's give her some love, but again, we're going to make it a little harder. So we're going to clap 3 times and snap twice. And say, you rock. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You rock. Ah, she's like, right. You wanted to share? Awesome. What's your name?
Sandra Morris.
Everybody say hi, Sandra.
Hi, Sandra. I'm grateful for what my parents, my mother and father poured into me to become the woman that I am today. My family and my grandboys, I love them. And the grace and mercy that God allows to follow me each and every day.
Outstanding. Again, same thing. 3 claps, 2 snaps. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You rock. One more. Who wants to share? Anybody? Oh, This tape is rocking. What y'all doing? What's your name?
Robert.
Everybody say hi, Robert.
Three things I'm most grateful for is first, my wife's a breast cancer survivor. I got 5 great grandkids, and my wife and I have been together 33 years.
Wow. Let's give it some love. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You rock. Did anybody else know that about him? You did? Anybody else? What I've learned over the years is that you never know what people are battling. You never know what people are struggling with or carrying around with them. You never know. We might be going through something hard right now, and we don't even know it. What I've learned is when you ask amazing questions, you get better answers. How you show up to the world is more important than what you're showing up to do. If I went back here and I stopped my presentation and I only talked to Mike. Hi, Mike. How's it going? Everybody say hi, Mike. Hi. If I only talked to Mike for the rest of my presentation, you would have a very different experience than everybody else. You'd probably take really awesome notes. But if I only sat here, you would have a very different feel than everybody else in the presentation. It'd make you feel like you are the presentation. Right? That's why mentalists and magicians are so good at what they do, because they bring people into their act. Anyone ever did an escape room? Right? It's interactive, right? Did you get out? That sounded like a traumatic no to you. Like, no! Something's behind that.
If you follow them, then you know.
This is why I do what I do. Stuff like that. That's awesome. Jay and I did an escape room, and they messed up.
They messed up?
They messed up. Because Jay and I walked in, and there's like another military person, everybody else is civilians. And so we walked in, and we're like surveying, looking around. And then I noticed the clock was flashing Morse code, and I was like, that's the way out. It literally was. And then I forgot how to read Morse code. It's a 1. No, it's not. It's a 0. No, it's the long pause. It's short. No, it's a 6. Dude, it's a 1. No, it's not. It was a 1. We were 1 number off. We went through the whole escape room, failed, and the guy was like, dude, you would have got it if you'd have put the 1, because that was actually the keypad. And we went through the whole thing, and we got to that moment, and we went right back to that clock, and that was the way out of the room. But I grew a 0 instead of a 1. Listen to the guy. But it was a moment that we'll never forget. These are the moments that we create, right? And so it's something that you'll never forget, because she's still shaking her head. Right? That's why magicians and mentalists are so good at what they do. Anybody ever done a murder mystery? Anybody ever done that? Where like you get pulled up, you're like, all right, someone's gonna die tonight. Right? Like whenever you go into a presentation, like if I started a presentation like, all right, thank you for having me, someone's gonna die tonight, you're like, first time I ever went to a murder mystery, I'm like, all right, let's do this. You're like, all right, someone is gonna get killed. I'm like, let's just cut to the chase. Thank you very much. But these are moments that get created and experiences that you'll never forget. I was leaving a conference in Sacramento. It's called the One Life Fully Lived Conference. I was the closing keynote speaker, and as we were leaving, there were two friends that were there. We need to go eat. We need to go. This is an amazing conference. It was blowout. I mean, it was rooms full just like this. We gotta go eat. We gotta go, hang out before we catch an airplane. So I've never been to Sacramento. I never Ubered. And I never ate at this particular restaurant. So I was like, I'm in, let's do this. I never, because in Goldsboro, North Carolina, you don't need to Uber. I wouldn't even know if they have an Uber in Goldsboro, a town of 3,000 people. where I live. So I'm excited. Let's do this. Get into a stranger's car. Everything my parents warned me not to do, let's do this. So that's the plan. So we go to the restaurant, we walk in, and I've got my phone. Facebook Live-in. I'm like, yeah, what's happening? Like, we're high-fiving the staff. Everybody's like, oh my God. We got 2 other friends with me, and they're Facebook Live. We're going to go to this amazing restaurant. It's a 5-star. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. We're like pumping everybody up. We got music playing. I'm like, turn it up. Like, everybody in the restaurant's like, what is happening? So as we go and grab our food, it's one of those, like, everybody been to like a Casey's Deli or California, like, you go through the line, you get your stuff, right? We sit down, it's going to be amazing. I don't know what pomegranates are, but this is great. So we sit down. I got my phone. I'm like, this is going to be amazing. I'm going to bite this, you know, whatever. And then I see out of the corner of my eye, but I want to look because I feel like I'm being stared at. I look, and there's like 6 senior citizens over here in the corner staring at me, mad. But I don't want. I'm like trying not to look. And then one of them gets up and walks over to me. He says, "Hey, are you the spokesman for this restaurant?" It's like, well. No, I was just speaking at a conference. I'm an inspirational speaker. He turns around and he's like, well, I'm not inspired. And walks away. My 2 friends got their phones, goes, oh, he just got punked by a 90-year-old man. like, what? And as he walks back to his friends, high five people. I literally got bullied by a senior citizen. Just then, just as this is happening, the manager comes over and comps our entire meal. He's like, you know what? He's like, it's all going to be on us. Don't even worry about it. You inspired us. You never know what you're going to say, what you're going to do, or how you're going to act in front of somebody that sets you apart from somebody else. You never know what you're going to do or say that is going to lighten somebody's day. You never know the actions that you take in this moment, the actions that you take every day by living your core values, showing up in your true, real, authentic self, is going to inspire someone to do the same. You see, I always live by actions. Actions speak louder than words, especially in the military. Live by example is the military way. Live by example. You don't need a title to be a leader. All you got to do is show up in your true, real, genuine, authentic self, and you will set yourself apart from those who don't. So my message for you today is to live your brand. Live out the core values that you hold deep in your heart. Live through the moments. And remember each and every moment that you experience today. Because you never know what's going to be on the other side. So my message for you as I close, which gives you hope that I'm almost done, but really doesn't mean anything. We're good on time, right? Is that when you leave here, and even here, connect with somebody that you don't know. Like, I don't know you, let's talk. Because I've learned that when you make these connections, they can be the best friends that you've ever had. You literally have walked by this person, maybe at work, you've walked by this person, really don't know anything about them, you've heard a little bit, but they could be one of your best friends. So as you leave here, and even while you're at the conference, connect with somebody. What are you willing to go above and beyond about? What are you willing to do differently? And how will you live out the core values that you hold deep in your heart? That's all I have for you today. Thank you for having me so much. This is an honor.